Hello, my little earthlings. So, in today's video, we're going to be talking about something that is a little bit controversial. It is the topic of originality. So, in the art world, you might notice there is this big thing about originality. People go back and forth in almost every single community I've ever been a part of that has art in it, discussing the concept of originality. So originality is typically defined as something new that is created that has never been thought of before or invented or produced, this concept that it's something completely new and out of the box and fresh that no one ever could have possibly thought of. Well, the problem with that, if you try to pursue originality as an artist, you will, if you have any amount of perfectionism in you, then no project will ever come out of you. You will stop before you even start. You will quit before you even try, because often the biggest problem is, well, how the F do I find originality when every time I try to create, my creations just look like a knockoff version of something I like. That, telling ourselves not to do that is exactly the problem. Everything that we create is going to be highly influenced by the things we already like. Little elements and pieces of everything we like are going to be pulled and formed in our thought processes when we are creating something that is quote unquote original. So there is technically, the concept of originality is not really there. Everyone is both original in the works they do and completely unoriginal. It is a weird societal paradox that we hold people to the standard of creating originality out of nothing when we also cannot really define what originality is, because it is kind of more or less up to the opinions of the people who are looking at it. You might have some people look at your stuff and say, wow, I've never seen such an original concept in my life. And then you might have other people look at it and be like, this looks like a knockoff of something else. So I wouldn't hold yourself to the standards of trying to pursue originality. Because, as Elizabeth Gilbert likes to say, which is probably my favorite quote ever, I highly recommend checking out her book called Big Magic. She often says things like, everything you create will always be original because it's never been made by you before. And that quote always stuck with me because it took away the stigma and the fear that I had that if I try to pursue something, what if I waste my entire life's endeavor creating a story that is just a repeat of another thing? If you want to see true examples of unoriginality, you can look at Hollywood more so than individual creators, where they're so afraid to try something new, they will create sequels, they will create literal knockoffs of movies. You've got countless knockoffs of things, and that is where I can understand where people kind of get that bad taste in their mouth. If they really like a certain thing, a certain movie thing like Avengers or something, and then you go to the Dollar Tree and there's a movie called Revengers, and it looks like it has the exact same kind of cover art and all the characters look the same except for their outfits are colored different. Yeah, you can say that lacks originality. But in a way, even though that stuff looks like it's obviously trying to copy something that we all like and know because it's trying to kind of clout chase, you could say, it is still original. In a weird way it is, and if the worse it is, sometimes it can also have a bit of a charm to it. I know Drew Gooden and Danny Gonzalez do this a lot with their videos where they'll talk about bizarre knockoff movies, usually holiday films, and it's a great example of how even the worst things that just look like terrible knockoffs that are not original at all still have this weird air of originality in them that just, where you can feel the cheapness, and it makes them special in their own way. So, if you realize that, don't worry about the things you make, because they can be both extremely terrible or they can be something that, is like the best thing you ever did and blow people out of the water. No matter what, it's going to be original. It doesn't matter at all about the details of it. So I'd say, yeah, just take the pressure off of yourself about trying to be original. And I could literally go about originality all day, because it's something that I used to constantly strive for, and I realized it was frustrating because it seems like I'm, trying to chase something that doesn't exist, like a unicorn. You're trying to chase a concept that will never come to you because it's all in your perception. So remember that, okay? It's in your perception, and in the end, you can free yourself of that feeling that you are not creating something original, because anything that comes out of your mouth, anything that comes out of your pen, anything that comes out of you in general and you put out into this world is not only going to be extremely beneficial because you're actually leaving something tangible on this world, because let's face it, we're not going to all be here, you know, after so many generations. That's all we're going to be remembered by, is the things we leave behind. So instead of focusing so much on originality, just remember anything you create will be original because it's never been done by you before. So if you like this video, drop me a comment about what you think about originality. Let me know if you also grew up with this concept. Did you know about originality at a younger age and it helped you accept knowing that it's false, or did you grow up with that concept that most of us do, where we are told to try to be an original and not understand how incredibly paradoxical and impossible that is? So yeah, I'd like to know your take on that. It's always interesting to hear other people's opinions on these things. And if you like this video, check out my other YouTube videos I have on ET Girl and on webcomic tutorials. I try to make these as helpful as possible for people, because I know that I would have liked to hear some of these topics talked about when I was working on webcomics. So these are fun little things I just thought of, and hopefully they help somebody out. So yeah, drop me a comment, drop me a like, and a subscribe if you like this video, and I will see you guys next time.